Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pedro and Hannibal YouTube channel. Pedro, did you press something? Did you press something weird? I think you did. Because
Oh
why
no,
my big?
I was trying to comment something, and I okay, hold on. Yeah, let me say, hold on. Let me go to brand, right? Brand or banners?
Yeah, the banner's right there. You gotta go to you know comments or a picture.
No, I was commenting something, and I noticed that it like went to a whole nother. Hold on, let me see if
Oh,
I
okay.
can't fix it.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
how about that? Is that good? Yeah.
That's good. Pedro's he's working through. He's getting his technology game up.
Listen, bro.
So you gotta
Listen.
press some
Look,
buttons.
read between the lines, bro. Read between the
Yeah.
lines. Technology.
uh,
Listen, I'm never gonna have my technology game
Well,
up.
listen. It's all good. It's all good. Um, what's going on? Good question, Bud Soda, and Paige are going to do the shouts in a second. But
Oh yeah.
why are we wasting our time? Well, we had an interview,
Uh huh. Uh
and
huh.
the man turned it down. And right
Yep.
now, he is actually live right now in a room with 7 people. So he'd rather be in a room with 7 people while we
Oh,
have
man.
34 right now. He'd rather
Yeah.
be in a room with 7 people to talk,
Hey, to each
which is
their own.
interesting.
To each their own. Yep.
Pedro, did
Well,
you even pay attention to anything this man said last, I don't know, week?
no.
Okay, so
So we went live on Monday, and
yes.
then I think I heard from you
Mhm.
that he said he wasn't interested, and then what he said is like he has like his
Yeah.
what his demands basically,
Yeah.
and
We're going to get into that later. We're not,
I was
just a
too
little
busy. Like
tease.
I was like, you know what, no, not at all.
So,
So I thought he was going to be
yeah.
here. I expected him to be here.
Right.
And when I found out he wasn't, I said, oh, no, it is what it is. Yeah, so what we want to talk about on this channel has nothing to do with the gig economy. So to have him on my channel doesn't make any logical sense, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. So that's why I just kind of dismissed it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
but I'm gonna break down a little bit on how it all went down. We'll do that a little later because there's a
we'll
lot,
get
a
into
lot
that a little bit
actually
later. We
happened.
got some other topics going on too.
Yeah.
So
But if you guys want to, ask this question like, hey, why Robert decided not to join the show?
yeah, what's up, Robert? Man, like
All right,
that's just
we'll put that there. I'm gonna see if I can. Oh, I got actually gotta switch on to my thing because I didn't pin myself. If you're live, Pedro, you can pin that comment if you.
I got it.
Want
I
to make
got
it.
you, bro.
Okay,
I'm not good with technology, but I got it. I
you
am
can
a
pin
man
there.
of the people, so
You
I'm
know,
gonna pin these
just
comments. Give the shout out. Shout out to Nothing But Silicone. She says, "I got you guys. Help me out with that PFP through Hannibal.
what
PFP.
PFP?
What's PFP? What does that mean?
I don't know. She probably let me know earlier and I forgot. But let me know what you talked about.
Yeah. I listen. I'm not smart, so I don't Hannibal would know. But
I'll help
listen.
you through
Thank you.
anything. Now, yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I think he'll wind up showing up still because like not today, obviously, but another time if he chooses. But like it's not really worth the rebuttal. I thought we were pretty
Well,
clear on that.
I disagree with Pedro. I have a
Oh,
rebuttal,
I like
and
it. Okay.
we'll
I'm
do
here
it a
for
little
it.
later. But most likely, I have no interest in talking to him. Uh, it's not going to work.
Mm.
We'll get in more into it.
Didn't I say that in the beginning, though, bro?
You
Didn't I,
did. We have a
didn't I say that in the
long.
beginning?
That is true.
Yeah,
You've kind of
I did.
mentioned this because this
Yeah.
is my idea. So this is what I'm talking about right here. Right, the man decided not to join, but
But
he's
he's
in the
here.
chat.
That's
Doesn't make
cute.
any sense.
No,
It
but
makes no
listen,
sense.
I've tried to have conversations with Robert, and Robert, you're listening, and I'm going to say this actually.
It's like what? What's the
Listen,
point? Why you
I,
not just join? You could have joined and
yeah,
talked to us
yeah.
right now, dude. Like,
I
why are
want to
you
say
in the
this though.
chat? Dude?
I want to say this. I don't dislike Robert as much as I used to. I used to really dislike Robert. Like I was like, this guy's goofy. He doesn't make sense. He's weird. But yeah, I'm a little goofy. Sometimes I don't make sense. So I don't dislike you, Robert.
Oh my god.
But I think that you are a funny dude, and I think that you forget some of the things you've done on YouTube as the gig economy news and how you've lured people in with
Oh shit.
falseness. So you're just a funny individual. I still think you should come on. I think there's some topics we could actually have a good conversation with, but I don't think you can have like an emotionally intellectual conversation. So that my challenge to you would be: can you actually have a conversation and separate the emotion and deal
Yeah.
in fact and reality and not be a character? I don't think you can do that. So something to think
Well,
about as you're over there
yeah.
talking.
Well, actually, yeah, we got more things to talk about, Robert. If you want
We
to
got
talk,
more things to talk about.
you want to sit back and wait. you'll wait because we're not interested in talking about
Yes.
you
So
right now.
wait. Yeah,
You have to wait. So this has been a pretty long week. We didn't have a show on Wednesday because we were out in Cleveland. Listen, we gotta talk about some Cleveland stuff, man.
Oh, we do. And shout out to Joe. He just asked us how our week went at the conference. It wasn't a conference, but that's an appropriate word, I guess, right? A meetup.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say about the last weekend?
Well, I never been to Cleveland, right? Probably drove through Ohio, but I never stayed in Cleveland, so I didn't really know what to expect. I know Cleveland kind of gets a little bit of the, I would say, negativity of there's nothing going on over there, or it's just not fun. Kind of like there's certain places where you don't get that kind of love and attention compared to being in New York or Miami or LA or whatever. But I would say this is the more I spend time in the Midwest and that area, I really enjoy it. I had a fantastic time. I enjoyed the people. I enjoyed the restaurants, the food. It was a really solid time hanging out, obviously with Pedro and the moves team and just hanging out with the other drivers. It was really a fun time. So that's what I want to talk about because it kind of will segue to obviously the other stuff that we went through. But tell me about your experience, man. Like you were there a little longer.
Yeah. How
was your experience in Cleveland?
It was cool, man. Very much like St. Louis. I think I've said it probably 100 times this past week. But Cleveland is very much like St. Louis, and I love living in St. Louis. I really do. Yeah. Robertson, you're saying mistake by the lake, Robert Bradley. So I've heard that from some people in Cleveland, actually, right? I liked it, man. The city was cool. We didn't, I went into the hood, got me a Polish boy, my man Hustle CLE. He took great care of me and us, and just was very. His hospitality was on point. The people we met were great. Obviously, the moves team. I mean, it's funny when it was kind of interesting to be a part of like a yearly retreat that they do, and we're a part of that. I thought that was really cool of them to include us in that, and we had a good time, man. They took care of us very well. Hotel was cool. Yeah, people were cool. I mean, it was a really good week, so I'll definitely be back. The places that we've gone, to your point, we've had good times in LA, which is obviously West Coast, and then Denver was cool. Cleveland was cool, man. I liked it. I really did. It made me feel like I was in St. Louis, or like a little mini version of Chicago. So shout out to Cleveland. If you're from Cleveland, really like the city. So it was cool.
Yeah, shout out to the Browns. They did their thing yesterday. Like they won their game, but
crazy.
Yeah. Joe, with the talking about the cost of living is really cheap in the Midwest, especially in smaller cities like Minneapolis. You can really buy into a good neighborhood if you left New York City. Listen, I am stuck here for a number of reasons. First, I run a business where there's animals, and I can't take these animals to the new place. I'll have to start over, right? Which is not that hard, but New York City has tons of animals. It's easy to kind of get it started here, and I have like hundreds of clients at this point. Then my chick works for the city in the MTA. You can't take that job necessarily and take it to another job. The New York City transportation system is a unique system. It's 24 hours. It's one of the most interesting systems in the world. I mean, it's not the best, but so we can't necessarily get up and move unless this YouTube shit flies off and I'm making six figures on my own.
I mean,
probably $500,000.
This podcast, maybe one day this podcast takes off, or Hannibal's other channel's doing really good right now. I mean, I've been looking.
I appreciate that, man.
So yeah. So shout out to you. If you guys don't know, Hannibal is hungry. He gets into some things beyond the gig economy, and right now Hannibal's on fire over there. So much love and respect to you, man. Robert,
is he still rambling? A lot of this we're talking about will translate later on when we talk about you. Yeah, like so a lot of why you think why I'm not interested in talking to you anymore. Nothing but cynical. I'm not opposed to you guys talking about. Are you not talking about my Huskies when sports come up?
Ooh,
well, college. Listen, Pedro's our college expert on all college sports. I only care about when they make it. This is for us. Well, I'm just saying, I care about when it comes to the pros. I don't watch a lot of college sports, unless college women's volleyball. Big fan of that sport. I am a big fan of their athletic ability. how they really bring it every time they up there. Big fan.
How they bring, So we all know, if you guys are new here, some of you might be new. Hannibal and I, mostly Hannibal, has talked about women's derrieres many times. He's a big fan. We'll be walking the streets of Brooklyn or Cleveland or St. Louis, and there'll be a fine young lady walking around. And he'll give me a little nudge, like, bro. That's what he does.
I don't do that. Do I? Maybe.
Nah.
Actually,
if anybody, it'd probably be me that would do that.
We're jumping around a little bit with the sports, but did you? I don't know if you're a fan of Outkick, Clay Travis. I'm not sure you're familiar with his work at all.
Anyway, say it again.
Clay Travis. He runs Outkick. Okay, so he does sports. He's been on ESPN. He's kind of similar to Jason Whitlock. A lot of his sports political takes are more on the conservative side. And he's been basically rejected from the ESPN crowd. But anyway, he talks a lot of shit about how the WNBA is terrible. It doesn't make any money. It's a waste of time. It's woke. How the NBA props up the league. Blah blah blah. And the reason why I brought this up is, the WNBA had no championship. I think the Las Vegas
Aces won. Yeah, they beat the New York Liberty.
Right. So
thanks, appreciate that, man.
Flex, appreciate that, man. Oh, you got it. Oh, you got the.
I got it. Just for shits and giggles. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. Representing New Jersey.
And representing loyalty and friendship, bro. Mr. Flex, huh? Because shit is crazy over there. But bro, I'm not jumping something right.
The YouTube streets are wild right now. They're on fire.
Listen, because they're not friends with each. They don't like each other. They're not real friends with. That's why friends. No, they're not. Because you wouldn't do, like, I don't know if they're from where I'm from or where you from. We wouldn't behave that way if someone talks shit about our dude in front. Anyway, let's move out. We'll talk about that later. So Clay Travis said to one of the Las Vegas Aces players, he said, I'll put $1 million up that a high school championship men's team will be the world champion, WNBA champion.
What's your take on that?
People were giving him shit. Like Patrick Beverly was like, he's a dumbass, and a lot of NBA players were, obviously sticking up for the WNBA women. But let's be really honest here.
What do you think?
They would be a state champion. Now it depends on what state. Actually,
most of these teams, if you win state, you probably got one really good player, two really good players. If you took a state, what's your take on it? I want to hear your take first, and then I'll
a high school championship team can probably beat the WNBA championships. Yeah.
Okay, let me take away one word. I'll say this: not every state. There might be some states where that team's kind of they're really good. But if that, listen, okay.
Would you put your money down if you had that money and it actually happened? What would you put your money on?
Oh, the men 100%, and it wouldn't even I wouldn't even blink an eye. This is why I think the guy that he had, Cooper Flagg, and he had like top guys. Like I saw a little scenario, right? These women are ballers. Like the Aces, Asia Wilson is phenomenal. The problem is the size, athleticism, and strength. Now, do I think Asia Wilson's still going to put up probably 20, 25 points? I actually probably do. The issue comes at the guard position. Okay. So the guard position in the WNBA on that scenario is 6 foot, maybe 6'1", 5'9". Exactly. The guards in these teams that I saw 6'3" and up. The physicality would be overwhelming, especially at the guard position. The speed, the jumping ability, what kind of ball are they going to play with? Because that actually makes a difference. So the women would probably lose by 30 points. And I know that sounds like people are like, oh my God, that's not a slight on the women. It's just an actual fact of the matter.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, let me say goodnight real quick.
Say hi about the baby.
All right. Love you.
Paige doing the daddy duties as he does.
Right, here we go.
Bobby says high school boys will be a favorite 6 points versus it's probably been higher, right?
It'd be more than that. There's no. I think you guys are speed, the physicality. So Kelsey Plum, she's really good. Plays on. She's the guard, the 1 or 2 guard on that Aces team. She's really, really, really good. Yeah. She would not be able to keep up with that all-state boys point guard. It's just not gonna. Once you get to the third quarter, I mean, plus the men play longer than the boy. Like it's just the stamina is different. It's just different. Right. I think we're, Serena Williams, the best female athlete of all time, in my opinion, in any sport. Serena Williams is the best female athlete, most decorated. She even has
it's said, probably her and Simone Biles, like both of those two, right?
Yeah, but she's even said, hey, if I had to play one of these other guys that were ranked like 100s in the world, she'd get smoked.
She said that,
right? She said that, and she's the best to ever do it. So I think we have to just understand there's just differences. It's not better or worse. It's just different. So, right. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. And we have actually, Pedro has a video he wanted us to check out, a little TikTok, kind of similar in terms of men and women, their expectations and roles. We'll do that a little later on. But I wish they would take that bet. I wish WNBA players like, listen, let's take, but the fact they just calling him a dumbass and being dismissive kind of shows that they understand the difference. So the idea of being paid the same when this said many times, most women are not watching these sports. They're not watching them. Now I would say the radio.
I watch them. I watch NCAA. I watch.
You love basketball.
I love basketball, right. So I watch it because I appreciate the game, and they actually play it very well. I watch.
But my chick doesn't watch. Well, she don't watch a lot of sports, but my chick don't watch it to support women's sports. Does your chick watch sports?
She watches
women's sports.
None
so,
at all. Yeah.
Women have different interests, right? It's not that big of a deal, but we look at it as like, well, we dismissing. It's really dismissing the fact of WNBA may be one of those really interesting businesses that been around for about 20 years now, 25 years, has not made a profit. How many businesses other than DoorDash, but they haven't been around that long, or Uber, that have been around decades with no profit. You know what I mean? Yeah, the NBA is basically a charity case.
Yeah, but the NBA makes so much money that it's not even like
they're not hurting from it.
They're writing them off as a tax break, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what they're doing. So,
Bobby coming in with a hot take. Basketball getting too soft. Too many soft foul calls out here, son. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You know what I don't like is I think with the NBA, and I like the fact I don't mind the 3-pointers and the analytics and guys hawking threes up in center, shooting three. Yeah, I'm cool with it. It's an evolution of basketball. Every 20 years, things change. What I don't like is I see a lot of standing around in the NBA. Not so much in college, but in the NBA, these dudes stand around and they just stand in one spot sometimes. So
but too much ISO.
Yeah, it's a lot of ISO, but also like the defenses isn't what it used to be. It's like the guys are just standing around and they're just waiting for the next play, but not forcing action, right? Mm-hmm. And we used to force more action. And I think now. I mean, I've seen some clips of James Harden since he's been on the Clippers. I mean, he's just
what happened over there,
bro?
First of all, Maxey is dropping 50 on people now. The 76ers have won every game since Harden left. The Clippers have lost every game since Harden joined the team.
Not a coincidence. Yeah.
I mean, the Clippers have Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard. They have PG, Paul George. And Harden, how is it possible?
I told you when you text me that, I was like, bro, this ain't 2015, 2018. Like it's not, these guys are older and they're not as hungry and they're a little fatter.
Yo, Pedro, you've been right for the last couple of weeks.
I know, man.
This is odd. Do you feel weird being right?
I feel really good actually. And you know what? Listen, I know we're all over the place. I got to say this because I wanted to mention it. I shared this in the Discord. I did a 5-bet parlay yesterday.
Did you win that shit?
Bro, I bet $100 to win $739. So the ticket was worth $839.
Right.
I got everything right. Well, I didn't get everything right. I got 4 out of 5. And the game that I didn't get right was the Cardinals beat the Falcons on the last play of the game with a field goal.
Yeah.
And two plays before that, it is. 2 plays before that, they could have sacked him, but he got. Anyways, I should have cashed $739.
Yeah, that game is.
I'd be feeling pretty good.
It's not even called a trap game. You would just assume the Cardinals have been garbage.
I know, crazy. I got all.
They'll win those games. But I want to give a shout out to Giggity, one of our biggest supporters. Lingerie Football League is the best sport. They need to bring it back. Listen, because Gig has been with us for the longest. He's the one OGs. He remembers watching clips of this fantastic sport. I don't think it's actually on now, but it seems like they have a YouTube channel and they keep posting content that's like 10 years old or 7 years old, but they know what they're doing. And as much as we laugh about it, they hit each other really hard.
Yeah,
Like it's no longer they actually have pads on. Yeah, they got thong
no, they hit.
whatever.
I mean, if we were playing, they'd hit us. We'd fall down like that.
I don't.
These women,
Well,
they're hitting.
I'd rather get hit by them than an NFL player. But
sure,
clearly,
grab a little something on the way down.
Yeah. Shout out to Bobby. Nothing but silicone. I'm subbing to Bobby too. He makes sense 90% of the time. That's a pretty good ratio.
I think 90% is. I think most of us would live.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm definitely not 90% right.
Me neither.
Bobby says Harden's game did not age gracefully.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it seemed like that one year where they decided we're not just gonna you're not gonna blow a whistle every time you just get into the goddamn lane.
Yeah.
Harden's game, like that was it. And I guess the step back jumpers weren't hitting.
He's gotten slow, man. He's gotten slower.
And his conditioning it leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know. So other than that, I know we're bouncing all over the place. But my Giants lost again. We're getting embarrassed now. We're just getting embarrassed at this point.
Are the Giants? Let me ask you a question. Are the Giants the worst team in football right now?
Yeah, the quarterback's terrible. We don't have a quarterback, and it's a young defense. It's decent, but they just don't have enough. And when the momentum starts to come and they start to lose, they're losing hard. They're not fighting anymore.
Yeah.
But it starts with a quarterback. Saquon is not happy, obviously. No. But yeah, it's just not good. I don't think there's anything positive to say about the Giants. The Giants is really bad. Joe says worse than the Bears. I think the Giants are worse than the Bears.
I think it would be a tough game to watch.
They should play each other so they can just see who would lose. Like they both may lose.
Yeah.
What's up, Dash and Trader? What's going on?
What's up?
Yeah. Thanks, Roy. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's
listen. I saw a stat. I think the Cowboys, like they played them twice this year. Obviously, was it like 79 or 78 to like 17? No, or 7 or something. It was like the point discrepancy was like something crazy.
The Cowboys has beat the Giants over 10 times straight.
Yeah,
I think that it could be either 11 or 12 now.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I mean, listen, you don't have
football sucks. Football sucks. Like, I mean, why are we even talking about it?
I want to say this since we're talking about football real quick. My favorite player to watch this year so far is Joshua Dobbs. He started with the Cardinals. He was balling, and then they traded him because Kyler Murray was coming back. He went to Minnesota. Didn't know anybody's name last week. Didn't take any snaps. Started taking snaps for the first time with the starting center on the sideline last week. They win that game. They win yesterday. Joshua Dobbs is balling. He's fun to watch. He's got a great personality. Like Joshua Dobbs. Look him up. I think if he can continue this, somebody's going to sign him next year and to be starting quarterback because he's playing really, really good. Also, C.J. Stroud from the Houston Texans, a rookie, is not only the rookie of the year, clearly to this point.
Easy.
Yeah, he's the MVP in some people's if you look at his stats and his numbers, if the Texans make the playoffs and he continues to play at this rate, he's not turning the ball over. He's passing a lot. He's clutch in the fourth quarter. He's multiple games now back to back. I think even 3 this season where he's leading touchdown drives. This kid he's putting up big numbers. He's poised. I mean, the NFL's got some great quarterback play right now. So it's been very fun to watch. So I got to say that.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the scores. The Lions they're doing great. They did beat the Chargers. They're 7-2. Imagine that the Detroit Lions
crazy
7-2. The Ravens should have won that game with the Browns. I don't know what the hell was going on. I mean, it was a last minute thing, but Browns they holding their own. So shout out to Cleveland. I think I asked shout out to Hustle Cleveland. I asked, you guys cool with Deshaun? Y'all cool with him? Y'all cool with Deshaun Watson? And he basically was kind of like, as long as he can play. Like, it kind of like, whatever. Yeah. Like, as long as the dude can play. And not like dismissing the situation. I mean, a lot of it hasn't been proven one way or another. He paid off. He settled. I'm going to say paid off. He settled a lot of those cases. Clearly, he's a bit of a weirdo. But, like, if the dude can play, and I think Deshaun Watson being a quarterback can win those kind of games compared to whatever the hell they had before. Well, they have.
They had Baker Mayfield last year.
Yeah, I think, Baker Mayfield couldn't win that game. Like, it's just This is why people spend so much money on these quarterbacks. That's why they make so much money, because if you don't have them, you're assed out.
It's the most important. It's the most important position in all the sports. It just is. There's a lot to have. The quarterback of an NFL team has to do a lot. Shout out to Nova Hustles in here. Sam Howell, I think he's leading the league in passing. I mean, he's been obviously a revelation. He's been really good.
Yeah, but they did. I guess they didn't make it to Seahawks. And Seahawks is. I'll tell you, Pete Carroll. I mean, we talked a lot of shit about the fact that who was running, who was actually doing all of the the amazing things that team with Russell Wilson, but clearly it was Pete Carroll, because Russell Wilson. Now, I won't give him too much shit right now. It's tied 15-15 right now. He's playing the Bills. The Bills, I don't know if they're regressing. They're 5-4. They're not as strong as they used to be.
Josh Allen's not having. I mean, he's got the most touchdowns in the league, I think, but he turns over the ball way too much. And their defense is iffy situationally.
So. Yeah, massage parlor Watson, which is weird, man. Like, man, that has that kind of money, has that kind of cliche. Do you like cachet? You don't need to be an effing weirdo, but some people are just weird, and we'll talk about some of those weirdos later on.
Yeah, we got definitely
in the show. But let's just jump in a little bit with the video that you put up.
Yeah,
Pedro.
I also want to say there's a video that Roy actually sent me that I think it's a song. Maybe we'll talk about that on Wednesday. I think Roy's in here now. So I didn't forget about that, but I got to send it to Hannibal. Yeah. But let's watch this clip, this little TikTok. I want to get y'all's perspective on it before me and Hannibal kind of speak. So
hey, Roy, if he wants to come on Wednesday, he's welcome to. He will click the link, unlike some people.
Oh yeah, Roy would definitely.
Unlike some people that
Roy would click the link. Yeah,
Eli click a link, and the guy that talk all this shit couldn't click a link and talk.
Yeah, we could do that. Could be fun. He could break that song down with us, and yeah. What was you saying?
We're saying the man, like Eli click a link, this man couldn't click. But anyway, let's pop the video. Let me see. Can I play it?
If you're a man,
hold on. It's not showing. Oh, there you go.
There it is. Listen,
I want to be on the screen too. Okay, there you go. Okay.
If your man woke you up at 2 a.m., he said, "Baby, can you cook me a meal?" Would you cook your man a meal if he woke you up at 2 a.m.?
No. Just being honest.
What about?
All right, hold on a second. And I want to stop it real quick right here. Put guys in the chat. The ones who have significant others, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the wife or husband. If you woke them up at 2 a.m. and said, "Cook me a meal," what would they do? I mean, really, like,
hold on. Is it a meal or is it a sandwich?
What is that, meal or is that sandwich? Let me see.
I thought it was.
I'll start over. Let me see.
If your man woke you up at 2 a.m., he said, "Baby, can you cook me a meal?" Would you cook your man a meal?
That's a meal. Okay. What's a meal? A sandwich is a meal. I'm not gonna. This ain't Seinfeld where it was like, it's super meal. It was like, well, soup is kind of like, well, did they put crackers in it? Which is kind of funny, but like, I would consider that a meal. Sandwich is a meal. So
meal if he woke you up at 2 a.m.
No. Just being honest.
What about you, Kiki?
It all depends on how I'm feeling.
All right, it depends.
Oh, another depends.
It depends on the situation.
Here's another question. If an intruder broke inside the house, would you or would you not expect your man to go downstairs and handle that break at the door? Natasha.
Absolutely.
Allie.
Yes.
Kiki.
All I'm saying is if you don't, it's over after that.
Yeah, I would expect that.
What I've heard was that a woman's wifey duty is based off her feelings, right? It depends on how I feel. But the man's duty of protecting you, it's mandatory. How is it a fair deal?
These are so different. Like,
Yeah,
one is like
they're
not even
not.
the same situation. One is like you're both about to die, maybe.
Right, and if you don't
and the
do
other
it,
one
you're
is
gonna
you
die
might
too.
not eat.
So it's not about the situation. It's about what the man is attracted to, and it's about what the woman is attracted to. The man is attracted to femininity, submissiveness. The woman is attracted to masculinity, protecting and providing. So if you're not giving what we are naturally attracted to, it's not a fair deal if we have to always give you what you're naturally attracted to. That's going to protect you.
Okay, so I have some thoughts on this one, but Pedro, since you're the one that kind of threw it in, let me put this comment up because I need to see it again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, and is he here? Is he here to talk?
I don't know.
He didn't click the link.
I think he lives in his car. I don't think he lives in a car. I think
I'm not going to insult. I have a few words. I'm not going to insult his man personal shit. But
I just said I think. I didn't say I knew. I feel like every time I see him, he's in his car. So
he used to do a podcast in his house.
It's weird.
But the house is not there. But anyway, What's your thoughts on
Yeah, so I have never and would never ask my woman to cook me a meal, wake her up at 2 a.m., right? To cook a meal. I wouldn't do that. I would say that if I asked for it and there was a particular reason, like had to go to work early, or I'm catching a flight and she's getting up with me, and I'm like, hey, babe, can you whip me up something to eat real quick, or can you make me a sandwich? And I'm going to jump in the shower. She would do it without batting an eye. It wouldn't even be an issue, right? Yeah. But if I just woke her up out the middle of a dream, right? I'm like, babe, I'm hungry. Can you make me something to eat? She'd probably laugh. But she probably, like, if I meant it and there was a reason behind it, she would probably do it, right? Because that's just that's her. She's very loving in that way. I would never ask her to do that because that's just kind of weird. But if there were situations to where I needed to have a meal for whatever, and there was a good reason, she would do it without asking. It wouldn't even be an argument. It wouldn't be an issue. She'd get up, even if she had to be up at 5 a.m. the next day, she would do that because that's the kind of relationship that we have. And if somebody, the other day we had the police at my next door neighbor's house at 4 a.m. and she thought that she heard knocking. She thought the police were knocking on our door. I got up, went to the front to see what was going on, and I saw that it was the police. So she thought somebody was knocking at the door. She woke me up to say that, and I got up and went to the front door. So, that's how we do it, right? Yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna ask her to make a meal at 2 a.m. But that's not kind, right? That's just weird. But she would do it if for the reasons that I stated before. So
I hear that. Nothing but silicone. I'd rather live it in my ride than with my mother. I wonder who you talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Okay, so I asked my chick this because I was watching a video while we were together. When Paige sent me, she said I'll make it. She said no, but first no, I'm not getting. I'll probably not thinking about it. She would look at me weird, like, why are you asking? But if I said I said do a sandwich, because she said I'll give you a sandwich, because again about cooking a meal. Yeah, I'll give you a sandwich. Yeah, but when you think about the comparison between, I guess, the feeling of it depends if I feel like it, compared to the intruder aspect, do you think that's a fair comparison to have when we're talking about gender? I guess that dynamics of someone breaking the house is a necessity to survival.
Right. Making a 2 a.m. sandwich is not. Yeah.
Right.
So I think the comparison is it catches some people hold up. I think one of the girls in there said, hold up, that's not comparable. And then he goes, well, it's about the, what men want and what women want. So I understood, where he was going with it. Not a great comparison because, one is possible life or death, or, intruder coming in, you got to protect, and that, it is what it is. Right. But the other one's it's just gluttony. Nobody needs to eat a meal at 2 a.m. mostly, right? Especially in the middle of the night. It's just not a thing, right? But, some would say, well, what if the man comes home at 2 a.m.? I've come home from work at 2 a.m. before, right? And maybe my woman would want to make me something to eat because I'm still hungry and I'm not going to go to sleep for another couple hours. Nothing wrong with that, right? But the comparison of protecting the home and providing a meal, not on the same wavelength, but it's more about the dynamics of a relationship and what men value and what women value. Women value protection, stability. Not all, but we're talking a lot of women want protection, stability. They want to feel loved, right, cared for, and men want a woman that's going to take care for them in other ways, and feel heard and understood, and coming home from a long day, and being nurtured in different types of ways. So I think that is still very true in most cases. Right. That's how I look at it, at least. So,
well, I look at it in terms of, I understand we went at this point. I guess the gender dynamics and expectations are all over the place because women are able at this point to make as much as men. I know this says there's a pay cap. If there is, it's closing. I don't think there is. It's closing. I think the only reason there is because if women are taking care of the kids, they don't work as many hours as men. They're not as available as men. Women most of the time are nurturers, even in a family situation. So if the woman had that much time to work as much as a man, it would be the same. Because a lot of these, even like city jobs, they don't base pay on who's a male and who's a female. It's based on how many years you've been in the job. So a lot of jobs aren't based on anything other than what the pay is already there. It's already put out there. And on top of that, men are more likely to negotiate raises. They will bring it up more faster than a woman does. The studies that they're out there. So I understand all that. But the issue that I had with the comparison is we don't want to be so rigid, right? Like relationship, I still feel it's a team sport, right? We all have different strengths and weaknesses, right? But we all going with that common goal, right?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't. If I'm in real pain and I can't get out of the bed and I wake my wife up at 2 a.m, she will take care of it, right? So, but at the same time, if I'm waking her up to ask her to do something that she's tired, I can understand and not flip out and say, well, if someone broke in the house, you could wake. You know what I mean? Like, there's a balance to that.
Absolutely. And I don't want y'all to think I'm some like women should be barefoot and pregnant. I do all the cooking in my house. Madison doesn't cook anything, right? So, you know, I just think that we're talking in generalizations, and we use that video as kind of like a thing to discuss to see what you guys think, you know. But yeah, if anybody's cooking at 2 a.m. in my house, it's probably me, if I'm being honest, right? That's just how we, you know, I enjoy cooking and she really doesn't. And there's things that she enjoys. So to Hannibal's point, we're talking about working off each other's strengths and understanding what that is, and just being very communicative in your relationship to understand, hey, we do kind of have some roles here, right? Things that we like to do, things that we know we're not good at.
Yeah. Some people are better at cooking, some do the cleaning, some do the laundry. So it all depends on, like you said, your chick doesn't have to, she's not working, so she takes care of the house stuff, you take it outside. So that's the dynamic that works. I would say a more interesting one, and it's not the same comparison, but if you wake up your partner at 2 a.m. for sexy time, right? Now, what's the expectations of that, right? Like if you woke her up like, hey, I want a shaboing, and she says no. That's her right to say no. She's like, hey, I'm not interested. But then do you still throw in, well, if someone broke in the house to kill all of us, I have to stop this person. I can't get any nookie, no cookie.
I mean, I want, if it's 2 a.m., I want a nookie or a cookie. You got two options. So you want to make me some cookies, or you're going to give me some nookie? Like either way, I mean, we're both winning here. So let's figure it out. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that would have been. He didn't want to do that one. He's like a cooking a meal.
Yeah.
And 2 a.m. was like, and then also like, what, you know, are we just here to make a point, or I don't know.
I think sometimes when I see those guys on those like, what would you call them? Like those red pill talks, those like fresh and fit guys.
The fresh and fit.
I feel like they know, and I feel like they bring on a woman. They've had some super smart ones, but they bring on some that are just like not with it, and I feel like they set them up a lot to look bad. You know?
Yes.
And you know, I think if they were talking to other types of women, it would be more of a balanced conversation. But a lot of those videos I see, they're just so one-sided in the approach and the editing. You know what I'm saying?
They are expecting a certain
they're expecting a certain response. Yeah.
Because it makes sense in terms of like, okay, men are attracted to femininity and submissiveness, while women are drawn to masculinity and protection. And we got, you know, I guess that back and forth was like, what is fair? We're looking for fairness in a relationship. And if you don't have fairness in your relationship, then you need to figure out how to get to that point, or at least have that communication, or realize that, hey, this relationship is not going to work. But you want a balance. You don't think you want more than the other, or, you know, I think in a healthy relationship, there's some balance where, you know, one person can say no, right? Or one person can sacrifice and get up early to do something for their partner and not make it seem like it's a big deal. So it depends on the situation. But I thought it was a pretty interesting video. I thought Candace had something to say, but I'm sure she probably sided with the guy. Yeah, her content is geared towards the conservative values, but also these people are playing the game.
Yes, definitely. I've seen a few videos where she's at the bottom and she doesn't say anything. So I think it's like a particular creator maybe, and they use Candace Owens as just like a backdrop
writing
because Candace never says anything in these videos. She's just sitting there like. So I think it's like a thing, like a yeah.
Because as much as Candace is, traditional values and conservative values, I bet you if her husband woke her up at 2 a.m. and make a sandwich, she would slap the shit out of him.
You think so?
She's like, oh, definitely.
Yeah, maybe.
Listen,
maybe.
I know.
I think Candace is wearing the pants in that relationship. That's my
that's what I'm saying.
Do you agree or disagree? Yeah,
I agree.
She's wearing
Candace Owens is a conservative now. Okay, and she may actually believe what she's saying, but you guys may not know who she was before this, and you guys can look this up. Candace was a liberal. She was trying to build a website or a service to basically dox people who are bullying people, like a platform for doxing. But she got a lot of backlash on it. People gave her a lot of shit. And then through this, she got her red pill moment. Now, she's probably a multimillionaire talking about conservative values, but she was not a conservative. Actually, she was a teenager. With her I forgot the organization, sued the school due to racism, like years ago. Like she was a high schooler. So there's a lot of history with Candace Owens. You can guys look this up. I'm not making anything this up, but she plays a game.
I think she's a character just like that Tommy Loram girl, the blonde, right? I think she's a character like other individuals you see on TV. I think it's just part of it. Right. Would you smash though? Would you smash Candace Owens? Smash the pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not mind. Look, I know the game, and I think at this point she probably is a conservative because you've been doing it for a while, and you're getting the backlash from the other side. So I'm sure she does follow it, but no, she didn't start that way. She was a big liberal. It's a big difference now, but it's all good. It's all good. Listen, everyone has a way to make their money. Some of the things she says actually makes sense.
I think, I mean, I don't think, for me, when I look at people like that, or when I look at situations like this, TikTok or whatever, right? I think we have to be open to like listening and understanding that most individuals, especially if they're come from a place of intellect or a degree, or they're well read or they're well researched, like they know what they're talking about. And we can't be so hardline to say I hate everything about this side or everything about that side. That's a really weak approach. I think there's benefits to different types of opinions and sides, whether it's right or left or whatever. I think nothing is like 100% is my point, right? I think that's just really silly, and I think too many people are so like, I am this, no, I am this. So anybody that's not me is the polar opposite. We're more alike than we are disalike. We're more similar than we are unsimilar, in my opinion. So I think a lot of us just need to, like, if we all just had a beer together or went on a camping trip for a weekend and like actually talked and got to learn and understand why people are the way they are and what's important to them, I think we can get rid of a lot of issues. I think we're just so like, this is left, this is right, and people don't want to listen. They just want to like be right without actually listening to the other side sometimes,
I 100% agree. Giggity, remember the WAP war she had? She got into a Cardi. She destroyed Cardi. She did. I mean, Cardi.
But Cardi's still standing. Cardi's fine.
Well, Cardi is but in terms of a debate of intellectual, that's not Cardi's strength. Cardi will fuck you up physically. She can rap, but in terms of what Candace was saying, she couldn't really compete with that. And everyone has the different realms and different niches and different worlds, and let's get into the whole Robert Reese thing real quick, because it kind of falls into this of trying to reach out, trying to have a conversation, and how they all planned together, how they came together. So Pedro has no idea what's going on because he's not paying attention to any of this shit, and it's probably a good idea. It's not making any sense. It's a bunch of people. It's the locale wars. We have so many locales in this. We have more locales in this community than I shit you not, than every other community. I have to say that. We have so many. We have right now, there's a group of them. They're all talking to each other right now. Like it's tons of them all together, yelling at each other, cursing each other out. it's weird. You're not really missing anything, Pedro. Don't worry about it. You're not missing anything important.
Yeah.
But let's just go really to the beginning of this. Last Monday, me and Pedro were having a live podcast in Cleveland, right? We was hanging out in the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about for an hour. Actually, my laptop is dying. Hold on a second. Okay, no, it's not. I had to plug it in. And we said, you know what, Robert, we want to bring you on. Let's talk. Because the reason why that actually happened, it was my idea. Actually, we spent the entire afternoon or evening hanging out and talking about, does this make any sense? This is a good idea.
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about it. Yeah, like the good, the bad. Yeah.
1 minute, I think Pedro was like, I tried talking to him. It's not going to work. And I was like, nah, fuck that, man. It's going to work, man. We're gonna make it work. And then I'm like, then I'm seeing the content he's putting out during that week. And I was like, yeah, no, you know what, Pedro, that's probably a bad idea. And then Pedro's like, nah, it's a good idea. And I was like, I'm confused, Pedro. So we're going back and forth with it. But then I think at the end we realized, you know what, let's invite him on because the Eli conversation was civil.
Yeah,
I know Eli doesn't like it now, but at the time he said he had a great time.
Oh,
that's one of the reasons.
Hold on. Do we want to show the emails, Hannibal? So is Eli saying he didn't like it? Is that
he's all low, and that's the problem with him and Robin. I think they're very similar. That's why I think they get along. I think that's why they should have their conversations.
You're being really nice right now, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be nice. What else is there to do? Locale, you can curse them out. You can tell them how much they're doing. It doesn't matter. They're not listening. But yeah. So we had the live episode. We say, hey, Robert, we'd like you to come on. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna talk about your personal life. That's your business. We don't want to talk about gig work with you. We want to talk about your YouTube channel, what you're doing, like how you handling yourself on YouTube. He was in the chat like he was in earlier. He was in the chat, and he said, "I will come on. I'm down." Talking. He saw the chat. He saw what we were talking about because it was a live. We were live, a live stream. So he knew what we were talking about. And he said he's interested. I was like, great, awesome. Finished the episode. Next day, I Instagrammed this fool. I said, are you still down with this? It's there. He can't deny it. He said, I'm down. I said, 10 o'clock is okay with you. Because that's what we do. We do 10 o'clock instant. He said, yeah, I think he said something about pulling over and having that conversation. I said, are you sure about that time? I don't want to interrupt your money. I don't want to interrupt anyone making their money. Doesn't respond. No, doesn't. He stops responding. Then I think a day or so later, he makes a live. Basically saying, I'm not going on that. I'm not going on that channel. I'm not going on Patreon Hannibal, whatever. And this is where it gets extra weird. First, he gets really mad, recapping all the issues we had with us. You know, all the issues that he could have said to our faces on a live tonight. He decides, he's like, you know, we could have brought those things up, but he decides to bring it up on his live. All the things about reason why me and him have an issue, why, you know, you and him have an issue, whatever. Just recapping things.
Yeah.
He starts calling us names, saying, fuck y'all.
Y'all
can't. Yeah, real aggressive shit. Then he jumps in with his proposition. His proposition was, no, I'm not doing it on Pedro Hannibal podcast because you guys don't get enough views, or I didn't want more clout. I need more attention.
So of course, Robert wants attention. Of course.
Right. So you two pieces of shit that I don't like. This is the deal. Pedro, I want to be on the Sunday live. You know, I want to be on that Sunday live on your main channel. Fuck yourself, but you gotta put me on channel. Hey Hannibal, I don't like you at all. You're terrible. But I want you on on your main channel. Then I'll go on the Pedro Hannibal channel. So this was his deal. His deal was to curse us out, call us names, right? Like all that shit.
And ask us to change it.
Yeah. He's having a moment. Guys, Eli, understand this. He had a moment. He had a moment right now. He's yelling, he's screaming. And this is what the biggest thing that he starts at the end. He starts freestyling. He starts freestyling.
Rapping?
He's rapping. Yeah, he's like starting to rhyme. And he's talking about how much how his bars are great. Like he has great, like he's spitting bars out. It was so fucking cringy. I stopped watching it. I was like, this is so fucking weird. Like, what are you talking about? We're not rapping.
Yeah.
This is not a freestyle battle. Like, what are you talking about? He's talking about ripping my dreads out of my head. And I
What?
got too much word. Oh yeah, it got really weird.
What
You ain't got my word play. Go fuck yourself. Y'all got. I'm the draw. He said that a few times. I'm the draw.
Excuse me. Okay, Hannibal.
He
Okay,
called.
listen.
I'm not making any of this shit up. Go watch this a few lives ago. He said,
good.
I'm the draw. I know my worth. I'm not, and this shows how well he is with business. He rejected. He took an offer, rejected the offer, cursed us out, came in with another offer, and then started freestyle rapping. That's the Robert Reese way of business is to, and this is why he's so successful in YouTube. This is why he has no business contacts. Every respectable content creator he interviewed would not talk to him again.
Yeah.
All the ones he interviewed, no one talks to him.
Yeah,
because
only the misfits, the people that nobody wants to work with, the people that don't know how to have a civil conversation, the individuals that the individuals that we want to laugh at. That's what
and
it's funny. You know what's funny to me, Hannibal? Listen,
should we start freestyle rapping to respond to him? Like, was that like a diss track? Should we write something?
I don't have
because he started rapping. And I'm watching this. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, no, you're not freestyle. Okay.
You got me there.
Because his bars, he says bars. He spit that hot fire.
Listen. I'll be willing to do this. I could come up with something tonight and tomorrow. And Robert, come join us next Monday, and we could have a rap battle off. I'll do it. I'll write.
He wants to be on He wants to, and that's the thing too. He wants to be on Sunday night. Your live
because. How do I don't give a fuck, because my Sunday lives are lit. They're the most watched, liked, and anticipated lives in the entire gig economy. Point blank, period. Nobody gets as many views on a live than I do. It is what it is.
Yeah, but he doesn't like hearing that.
Of course he would want that.
Was he on your channel yesterday? Was he on your channel?
I don't think so.
No.
Well, of course he would want that, but it's not relevant because we're not talking geek stuff. We're talking other things. We're talking YouTube and fatherhood and beefs or whatever else. We're not talking gig economy. I've had him on my channel doing that before.
And that's the last time he was on your channel. Hold on a second. The reason the last time he was on your channel, he admitted to lying. He made a video lying to his own viewers
to get my attention,
to get his attention.
It worked, and he thought he won.
Yeah,
this is the kind of, and he did it to UDM, admittingly, and it worked both times. So I'll give him credit for that because he did something that no other news organization would do.
Yeah, lie to your viewers to get ahead.
Some of these individuals, and Robert included, wants my attention so bad, and the minute that we try to give it to him, he doesn't know how to act.
No.
Okay.
He has too many moments. He had a moment. I
mean, some people just want to go viral, and I'm viral. Like this guy.
He is viral.
And this is the thing. I don't dislike Robert. I don't dislike him. I don't. I think Robert has been through a lot of shit that I would never know how to deal with I just wouldn't. Right. And maybe I've been through some things. And maybe I've been through some things he wouldn't know. So I think him and I can relate. The one time he was on my channel, actually, the first time he came on, he was nobody. Nobody knew of him. And I brought him on because he had a different perspective. Conversation was fine. And he went and he got his ego way too big. And he was like acting weird. And that's when I disconnected because he's a weird dude. He doesn't know how to like have a regular conversation.
Because he has tried so many other moments.
Times. And the only other time I've had a good conversation with Robert is when he came on, the second time on my channel, and it was not gig talk related. We were talking about mental health,
and that's the thing.
We were talking about real topics.
We could have had that conversation,
and we could have that conversation.
The goddamn thing, and
we should be having it right now.
Right now, dude. And he decided to go on a channel with the chat with 8 people right now, or whatever the amount that's in over there. What was the point?
Flex, thanks, man. Yeah,
appreciate you, Flex, man. Really
appreciate that. Dash for Life Hawaii, much love, man. Thank you for the 50. Balling in Hawaii.
Listen, this guy is amazing. Like I see him he's all on tons of channels.
He's his
hustle,
inspiration.
His motivational. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you should definitely bring him back on. He was on Sunday, just letting you know like how much he's working. He's working while talking. Like he's being interviewed, and he's still doing his thing. But I want to go back to the idea of the reason why Robert is going to always have issues getting ahead on YouTube, and I want to have this conversation.
Yep.
He doesn't really the story that he's covering is about himself. He puts himself in the story, right? By having these moments, having these emotional. He had you go. I preach. Actually, I'll probably gonna put the link to that live. Watch that live and show me if this a man is of being professional or being of sound mind that is not emotional. I would say no. I would say, Robert, you had a really big moment. You have lots of moments. And the problem is you have too many moments. That's so. Pedro would like to talk to you. I have no interest. Like my counter to you coming on my channel and Pedro, I would say my counter offer is there is no offer. There's no interview.
Yeah, I don't, Robert. I don't need you on my channel.
That's the thing
to have a good Sunday live show, right? And the reason we'd have you here is because this channel here that Hannibal and I do is completely different than the other stuff we talk about that we do for a living, right?
Yes.
This is about culture and hip hop and manhood, fatherhood, parenthood, relationships, culture, hip hop, all the sports, like YouTube. We get into locales, like So that to me is a way more beneficial conversation than if we're going to talk about DoorDash. I've already done that with you. There's nothing else to be said. There's no value you can offer on that channel.
He acts like he's tough and all this stuff. Like, I'm tough and I do this. And remember, he used to say, I'll go to the next time I go to a conference and y'all gonna beat. I'm gonna beat some of y'all up. Y'all gonna have to hold me back. Crazy. We were literally in LA. The guy didn't show up.
Oh yeah. So listen. Hannibal and I were like, "What if Robert shows up?" And we were both. I said,
"We'll come over."
We'll say what's up.
Yeah, I was like, "What's up? Come over here."
But you know what's funny? Listen, Robert. I want you to listen to this. And your wife sitting next to you. I want her to listen because she's gonna laugh. Shout out to your wife. I like her. I think she's really cool, actually. Okay, listen. So how are you the official news channel of the gig economy? And in your backyard, there is a conference called Curbivore with about 100 drivers and another 500 individuals in the area that you are the news channel, and you don't show up. But you talk about what me and Hannibal did there days after. So you cannot call the reason people laugh at you, Robert, is because in your city, there was a Curbivore event for the gig economy and the news channel didn't show up. That'd be like ESPN not going to the goddamn Super Bowl. So this is the level of intelligence we're messing with. So anybody that's like, well, Robert's the news channel, you don't know what you're talking about. So I can say that because I have facts to back it up. So when you talk about news, you're just talking drama and
he's talking about himself. Things. He's inserting himself in the
Robert,
drama, which is
you
fine.
could have came to Curbivore. You could have broke bread with us. We could have did content. It would have been probably all chill. Like, it would have been fine. And you would have been able to make content and actually report on the Curbivore, the robotics. You could have met people. I could have introduced you to individuals. Sometimes people like Robert get in their own way and they don't know it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So I want you to reflect on that because there's no rebuttal that you could give anybody that why wouldn't a news channel be at an event like that that's in your backyard? It makes no logical sense at all. And I would love to hear y'all's opinion in the comment section because that happened. So he saw us there doing things, and then all he did was make content for a few days talking about Pedro came to my town and he doesn't know Prop 22. I'm going to teach you Prop 22.
You could have showed up.
I mean, he completely fumbled the bag.
Yeah.
He completely dropped the ball.
That's a good way of saying it. Yeah. Robert, I'll say this. I'm disappointed you didn't show up. You click every link and talk to anyone except me and you, like us. I don't know what that is about. I don't like, you can't handle us. It don't look good on your part that Eli was man enough. And we made some devastating videos. Like the kind of videos. See, the reason why I don't mess with Robert is because of, like you said, the things he went through. He couldn't handle if I really went 100% on him. He knows that. He can get mad and he'll make a live tomorrow, cursing me out. If I really went in on him, it would be devastating. Yeah, because it would be really bad. So I don't. I went after Eli for many other reasons, but Eli was man enough to click the link and stay for 3 hours. And you couldn't do that, and that's disappointing, man. Like I'm not gonna throw any no insults at you, but the fact that everyone makes fun of Eli and Eli went into the fucking fire and he was like, I'll talk to these guys for 3 hours, and he had some pushback. Pedro pushed back a little bit on him, right?
Yeah.
You could have had that, and you decided to go on a live, have an emotional moment, start rapping, and like we're not rapping. Like we talk. Like that's what the idea you're saying earlier, Pedro. Like is this a bit? Is this a character? I know he hit you up and said let's do fake feuds like wrestlers. He has done that. He said, hey, let's go back and forth here because Robert's all about views.
He sent me text messages. Hey Pedro, you just don't get it. It could be like the WWE, and he's like he wants to make things up so that they're news. And I know a lot of outlets do that. There's nothing wrong with it, but that's not how I roll, and I'm not interested in that. I don't need. It's just weird. It's just I would like to hear his response to what the news channel wouldn't miss out on Herbivore. That doesn't make any sense, right? I mean,
Gloria says I can't watch him. He's boring and nuts. So another thing, I'll also want to counter with the idea that you're the draw. Robert, come on, man, come on, Rob. And I'm not going to compare views. I'm not going to be that person. But if you want to compare you and Eli, Eli's the draw. That's why you have him on the channel. Yep. Eli brings the attention. You don't bring the attention. Eli is fascinating. I avoid you. I ignore all the things you do. Like the only reason why you're around is because you infuse yourself into shit. And I was trying to bring the olive branch of, hey, bring this guy on. Let's have a real conversation. Yeah. And this is another thing too that Robert, you need to understand about business. I know you say you're a big businessman. You got so many deals and you're doing really well. Like, all right, cool. If you wanted to be on Pedro's channel, hey, dummy, when you come on tonight, be a normal person, have a good conversation. Don't you think Pedro would have put you on next week?
Maybe, yeah. Because I think we could actually talk about. I think we could have a good conversation. I don't think Robert's an idiot. I don't. I think Robert can talk about sports and this and that and various things, and we could probably have a really good conversation. Share some laughs. We've done that before. Crack a smile. We don't have to like each other to have a good conversation. I think too many people are like, well, I gotta like this person. Or no, we can have a conversation that could be meaningful. But like there's some things that are just they make no logical news sense. They make no sense at all. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Eli is way more interesting to check out than you. And Eli, Eli is Eli, obviously, with all the issues he's dealing with. But like that's exactly. But Eli's a more interesting one than Robert. So the idea of Robert, I'm the no. That's why you have Eli on your show. You're not the draw, and you know that. And you can talk shit about this channel. I think this channel is doing pretty well. And I know. And the reason why I think Robert didn't join.
But we got as many people. Well, we got more people that watch us right now with 1/10 of the viewership, and we have more. You have 12,000 subscribers. We have 1,200, and we have more people watching us than watching you. So people watch people that they like,
right?
And some people watch people that they don't like. But those people aren't going to be as many, right?
No,
unless you're like a huge YouTube whatever, right? So I think it's funny, man. I just think it's really funny. Like I think Robert needs a hug. I think Robert needs a hug, man. I think Robert just needs a hug.
Eli will give him that hug.
He wants to be heard. I think Robert wasn't heard a lot. I think he wants to be heard.
But
YouTube is a place you're trying to get that. So
this is where I am. This is what weirds me out. He was okay. He said, I'm down. He said it Monday. The next day, he confirms it. Then someone must have told him, don't go. And I think it was Eli. That's why Eli and Robert have a good, they have a relationship. They're very similar. And before they try to say they're different, they're not. They're very similar people, very similar mindset. But the problem is because Eli, one thing Eli says he wasn't upset. He said he wasn't upset with this, but he was. He was mad and he was getting distracted when he had an interview with us about the amount of money that was super chats. The super chats bothered him a lot. He could say it wasn't, it bothered him. He's like, I can't believe they're getting this much money, and when I do my thing, I'm not getting money. So he probably told Robert, don't join the channel. They're gonna make fun of you. First of all, the way Robert talks and screams how are we gonna make fun of him? Like when he gets into his, I already said I'm not gonna yell with you. You'll never see me argue with someone.
Listen, I'm a goofball, man. Y'all can make fun of me. I get made fun of every day. It's okay that it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, but I just find it funny that so many people want our attention And then when we try to give it to them, they're like roaches and they scatter. Right.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why we don't want to come back and give it to them. It's just, like I give people opportunities, like click a link, come on the show.
Yeah.
I invite people. I'm an open book. I'll bring receipts. You can ask any question. And they don't show up and they don't come. But then they run off and do their own little side shit and 5 people watch them. Like it's rather ridiculous that it's just crazy, man. How people move.
Robert could have took all his grievances, all that anger, and brought it tonight and gave it to us and told us exactly how he felt. And the man didn't show up. Hashtag Eli showed up. Eli stepped up.
Eli
and showed up. That's the one thing about Robert. I'll never let this one down. You let Eli show you up on this one, man. That's pretty sad, man. Like that's pretty sad. Eli was pocket watching. The proof is in his words. Facial. Yeah, exactly. I knew it. That's one thing about the that conversation I thought was a little off. Eli doesn't forget his words or what he's saying half the time. Like
he fumbled a few times. We'd ask some questions.
There was times he did not pay attention because he was so focused on the money. The man couldn't remember what he was. He was like, "Will you ask me again?" Which fuck out what I was saying. When you see him on his little trails and his thing, he doesn't forget. He doesn't lose his track of thought. But he was so focused, and it got to a point where people were donating. They knew that it was bothering him. Even though we told him not to check the chat, like he could just had a conversation with us. So I think that's why Robert didn't join. But we had a pretty good conversation, even with Eli, with the going the back and forth. He decided
it was fine. I mean, we didn't solve any issues or problems, or but I thought it was okay. I think you knew that earlier than I did, but I think that's fine. I think Robert got greedy, so I think he loves to get. He's been dying to get your attention. You've never really given it to him. I've given it to him. I've given it to him a little more, right? And there's reasons for that, and that's fine. I don't always make the right decision. Okay, but I roll with the punches, right? It is what it is.
Right.
But I think he got greedy. I think he was excited when you sent out that thing about, "Hey, Robert, come to the show," or whatever, blah blah. And I think he was shooting for the stars. He's like, "I'm going to get on Pedro's again. I want to get on Pedro's again," because I mean. I understand why it would help him, but I'm not trying to help him in that way because we're not talking about gig work. So, if something happened in LA with Prop 22, I would probably ask him to come on if something transcended and it was different because he is out there. So I'd probably bring some California drivers and he could probably actually add some value to a conversation about Prop 22, right? But that's not happening. Right. So there's nothing for him to offer to my channel. Absolutely nothing. And my channel will do just fine like it does every week without him. So you're not the draw, Robert. That doesn't make any sense. And,
Eli showed up, man. Eli showed up.
Hashtag Eli showed up.
Eli showed up. I know. And this is a back and forth because we talk about this really quick. Who wears a shirt called "Shit Show" to the interview?
Because,
Bobby. We have a lot of back and forth. So, like, a lot of people thought it was disrespectful. And it was disrespectful to us or the chat. So, like, my chick thinks it was towards the people that were going in there to talk shit. Mm-hmm. But inadvertently, that could have hurt our reach with the video. So that's possible. That was probably his one way. Because the thing about these locales, they want control.
Yeah.
They need control. And Eli was going into probably had a lot of anxiety, a lot of issues, just going and doing. And then props, Eli showed up compared to somebody else. This is one way to say, fuck y'all. This is a shit show. Maybe he's calling us a shit show. Yep. I mean, whatever. I mean, I'm okay. It's like it didn't bother
me. You know what though, bro? He could have wore that shirt on any of his own streams because those same people are watching him. So to do that on our show, I didn't think about it in the beginning because I was just wanting to have a conversation. To do that on our show, knowing we were going to get super chats, could have been a way for him to not want that video to get as much attention or to get flagged at some point, right? Or something. So because he could wear that on any of his, I've never seen him wear a shirt like that. So
that's true.
It's a little disrespectful in my opinion. It just is. You don't do that as Eli talks about being a professional and having a fancy mic and this and that and a studio setup. Professionals don't wear shirts like that, Eli.
That's a good point.
Life coaches don't wear shirts like that. So you want to come to our channel to have a talk about this and that, but we come up and you show up in a shirt like that. Less a low blow move. Life coaches and professional interviewees do not do what you did, and you know that. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
He's not going to
You
take.
don't,
He's not going to listen to you though.
I'm going to be on UDM's channel tomorrow. He invited me today. I'm like, yeah, I'll come. What are we talking about, man? Let's do it. It's going to be a good time, right? I'm not going to show up to his channel regardless of what's going on and look stupid, because that's disrespecting his channel, right? So that's he knows that's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah. He should have wore a Jets or a Packers shirt to piss you
off. Ryan with comment of the night.
that would be more interesting.
What's up, Steve? What up, Right Shirt Rodeo? What's up?
Yeah.
How you doing?
So let's see. I'm telling y'all, giving Eli attention is a bad idea. He's full of shit of everything.
Yeah, but
it is what it is at this point.
We're just mentioning it now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. Yeah, we're having this conversation.
You're not wrong. You're not
wrong. And most likely, we're probably gonna move on from this. And again, I don't mind bringing this topic up of Eli next year. So a couple of weeks down the line to see where he is. See if he's interested. Yeah. Maybe he want to come back on. Probably doesn't.
Same thing.
He likes
been talking
me.
About. I'm
he
not
doesn't
talking
like
about
you.
Trolls and haters. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, he
doesn't like
me.
Yeah, you
then
suck.
He doesn't love me,
but he likes me
again.
So maybe I can bring him back and listen. I'll tell Pedro shut up, and you come in, buddy.
That would
we
never
can talk.
I am not a shut up kind of dude. You know that, man. I am too loudmouth. I have an opinion. I speak my mind.
But yes, and Robert, this is probably the end of this. Again, Pedro wants you gone. I'm not for it, but because it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. He's going to come in screaming, especially after he hears a lot of what we're saying. But going back to the main channel,
we're not saying any. Well, listen, I have said nothing tonight, and I can't think of anything that Hannibal said that is not true. I laid out some facts of things that have happened and how I've seen Robert move. So, you guys can talk about facts all you want. I just laid out plenty of them. So there's no going around those type of things. A news channel not showing up to a huge event in your town that could have helped your business and your brand. So you talk about being a business and a news channel and a brand that could have helped you tremendously. You fumbled horribly with that, right?
Yeah.
You just did. It was open to the public. I made it very aware where we were at. I mean, this thing was, a great event. There's going to be another one in February. So if you're not at that one, that shows me a lot about your news channel as well. So these are facts, people. These are facts.
Yeah. Angry Squad said, if he battle rap declined you, it probably wouldn't go well.
Yeah, well, that's a good point.
He's like, I spit bars and I do this and y'all can't keep up my wordplay, but I can't show up though. And then and also fuck you. And I'm gonna pull your dreads out, Hannibal, but I want to go on your main channel. And fuck you, Pedro, but I want to go on your main Sunday live because it has a lot of people. But fuck both of you. But this is the deal. But again, fuck both of you.
Yeah,
Robert, why, if you don't like me, why the fuck would I have you on my channel?
Yeah. It's funny. These guys don't like us, and all they do is talk about us all day. I'll give you 30 minutes when I'm at the end of my day and I'm rewinding. But you got guys 6, 7, 8 hour live streams and these mini series.
We'll talk about that full too. Real quick.
It's like everybody wants to have my baby. It's crazy. It's like y'all talking about y'all the draw. Are you kidding me? You guys can't go a day without talking about me. It's hilarious.
Robert, it's not gonna happen, bro. I'm not gonna have you on my channel. I know that you don't like me. I don't think you even watch my shit. So like, why would? There's a few reasons why I don't think he watches it. I know he's the draw. My channel doesn't even really talk. Like the last month, the channel has pivoted.
Bro, so, you're not even talking about gig economy.
So I'm not talking. So why would I bring you on to talk about gig work? Because that's what you want to talk about. My channel is not really about gig work anymore. I'm still talking about it. I'm a gig worker. I actually have a business. I know you say you have one, but I actually have one. And you have one actually. Yeah. But why would no one will watch that? Because that's not the new people that are coming in my channel don't know who you are and not interested. So why? And on top of that, you said you don't like me. So why the fuck would I have you on my channel? I'm gonna have you on this channel where we do goofy shit and entertainment. You goofy ass come here, but you're not coming on my main channel. Right. But that doesn't make any sense, Robert.
And I think that's a disconnect, Hannibal. Robert's channel is in the gig economy, but it's not. It's actually mostly about drama and talking about other people.
Right.
So that's why I think he doesn't understand that our channels really aren't about that. But this channel kind of is sometimes. So that's why we invited him here and not over there. But he sees that the Sunday show obviously would get him more exposure. So smart of him to think that, but he went about it the wrong way. So that's not a very good business move.
Yeah. Your business acumen is not there, Robert. I mean, all you had to do, Robert, if you really wanted a change the dynamics, you should have sent me a message on Instagram.
Yeah,
we could have had that discussion. You could have declined it, or we would have said, "Yeah, Robert decided not to show." But you did all this goofy stuff, and it just seems a little silly. So that's really is, and I don't know if I could have more of a conversation.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I don't.
Well,
I know
that was my initial thought. Was Hannibal was like, "Let's bring him on." I'm like, I try to have civil conversations with him, and it doesn't work. He over talks you. He's loud. He doesn't know how to listen. He waits to talk. Robert is an individual that he's not listening. He's waiting to speak a lot of the times. You can see it in his interview style. A lot of the times he takes over the interview and the person's just sitting there. It's just really awkward.
His interviews suck.
His interviews are not good.
You don't understand. You ask questions, but don't just keep jumping in with what the hell you're saying. Or you don't guide the interview as you've done with Eli, where you're guiding him. You're not having an interview with him. You're telling him what to say or guiding him on what to say because you guys are in business together. And again, you guys are very similar. Like you guys should have a new channel called Eli and Robert Reese, the hot facts for Eli or some shit. And people would watch.
That's a good idea. People would watch that. I think people would watch that.
It's more like hate watching, but
they'll doesn't matter. They'll still watch. So I'll give you. I mean, hey, if you and Eli are gonna do that, that's great. I think you're gonna have to continue to just talk about the trolls though, because there's not. You guys don't really have any other substance beyond that.
No,
you know.
As much as I'm goofing, I'm like joking around. I think Robert trying to hitch his wagon on Eli is a big mistake. It is not going to work. I know he looks at view. He's looking at how many people watching Eli and think I can leverage that for my channel. That's a bad idea because you just leveraging all the ill will that Eli has gained over to what now you're a part of it, and now you guys are very similar. So I think that's a bad idea. But
so Robert has historically, and anybody that's in this chat can vouch for this. Okay, give me a thumbs up if I'm right on the money, a thumbs down if I'm off. You guys, I can take it. Robert's talks about views so much and viral and views and social blade. I mean, thousands of times he's lost himself and his channel within that. So he has a false sense of reality of what his channel really is. And he's had a couple of videos that were shorts that popped off, and most of his subscribers come from that. That's why he doesn't have engagement. Robert Reese has no engagement on his channel. Comments, likes, nothing. He doesn't have any of it. He puts a video up, nobody watches. So I think he's lost himself in a couple of videos, and he has a false sense of reality of what his channel is. It's not too late to pivot. You could always change things up, but
I pivoted.
He's fumbled. Hannibal's pivoted. I've withstood the test of time. I've been demonetized, and now I'm back, and I'll come back stronger than ever. So you have to sometimes put the business hat on and like relax. And Robert just doesn't know how to do that. And he's shown us that.
So Dash of Life, let's just jump in with the race card. So I'm sure Dash of Life Hawaii he dealt with this. I think he had a little back and forth with Robert as well.
Oh, I didn't know.
Robert posted stuff. He'll talk about race. Everyone is racist.
He's called me racist numerous times. Robert has made videos race baiting, and he's used my face, and he's reacted to my video to do that. That is such a low level entertainment.
The Puerto Rican that's with a white woman and hangs with almost everybody.
Hangs with everybody. I'm racist. My ex is black. I mean, I'm racist. I don't know if because I made a video and I said the guy was black and somehow that makes me a racist.
So everyone's racist. And this is one thing I guess. And this is something a criticism for the black community. I can do that. I know he called me Uncle Tom. So I'm that's why Uncle Han. If you hear anyone call me that, it's because he was the one that called me Uncle Tom. He's allowed other white people to call me that or say that in the chat, and he doesn't say anything about it. That's all good. The problem is, Robert, a lot of black people who are like you, who blame their shortcomings and the issues they have with people due to their race. It's not your race, Robert. It's your personality. People don't like assholes regardless of their race. You have made enemies with so many people, and it had nothing to do with the fact you're black. It's because people don't like dealing with assholes. Not calling you one, but you definitely act like one. whatever act that you're doing, the bit that you're doing, the wrestling shit, the promo, the battle rap wrestler shit that you do, people find that annoying. That's why they don't work with you. That's why you haven't reached any kind of milestones that you probably want. Now you count on views, great. You know, you take a picture of an ant on Instagram, whatever. You get an ant on the short and it gets 1,000 views, great. Or you know, some kind of bird eating some shit. All of a sudden, that's 1,000 views, and that's great. I mean, that does nothing for your channel because YouTube is like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this new video? This guy posted a picture about, you know, 2 cats walking. I guess that's why the views don't work and the engagement is down. It's your personality, Robert. It's not the fact that you're black. It really isn't. Yes, there's racism. There's tons of racism. Yeah. But your situation is you have pissed off so many people. And that's why, like I said, you and Eli get along so well. You have pushed so many people away. That's why they don't like you. And that's where your friends are fellow locals. So I'm going to jump right in and talk about this one guy. Let's just get over with. I mean, we don't have to bring him up anymore. Jeff Thomas Black. Let's just get it over with. This dude he called himself a civil rights activist. He said he wrote a book. I don't think it's a book. I don't know. I don't think he's an author. I don't think he writes books. He said he is. I don't think so. Yeah. I think he's a fake author. Why? This man, Jeff Thomas Black, spends 5 to 6 to 7 times 8 hours online, obsessed talking about Pedro. And I know some writers. None of them spends 5, 6, 7, 8 hours watching old videos of a content creator and making derogatory comments about them. Writers don't do that. Successful writers do not do that. And lies, making up random stuff. And I don't know if we got to do a video on, or at least a conversation. Why some people are so obsessed with Pedro? It's fascinating.
It is.
So this man lives in a house.
Weird. It's weird.
He says he doesn't work. How's he up? There's a question that I ask you, Pedro. How do you think he pays his bills?
I don't know.
He doesn't work. So he'll do 8 hours. Then he'll go in another chat. I think he's in chat right now. He'll do another 5 hours talking about you, how much he hates you.
Yeah, I don't know.
How is he making money?
It's funny because the people that I think Jeff is in a lot of ways a smart guy. I want to say that first. Secondly, he has lied to so many of you guys. And I've tried to have him on my show. He didn't show up. Okay. I've invited him on my show publicly even before that one where a few people showed up. I've invited him on recently. Doesn't want to do it. But then he goes live all day talking about me. This man was emailing me his email with the book and stuff way before you guys even knew about him. He did the same to Nugs and other content creators because he wanted our attention. He says we had some phone conversation. Never happened at all. And he says, I was supposed to call Pedro. He was supposed to call on Zoom. Never happened. He never reached out to me to do that. He's lied to you guys about so much stuff. And I'm an open book. I got receipts. I can pull up old emails. I can pull up the one TikTok that I commented on. He says I've trolled him. This man does nothing but troll me. He went on a good friend of mine's podcast and bashed me for a 2-hour podcast, probably talked about me for about 30 to 45 minutes of that podcast, saying that I was lying about my earnings and the money that I make, that I was being paid by DoorDash, all things that are not true. Slandering my name, slandering what I do, right? Talking about that I'm in Cleveland, that I'm having sex with women, that I have a gambling gambling problem. I have a drug problem. I mean, ridiculous stuff because he wants my attention. And when I want to give it to him and I say, come on my channel. Hey, Jeff, if you can bury me and I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm the worst guy ever, right? Then I'm giving you the most watched live show so that you can embarrass me on my channel. That's how confident I am in myself. Right? So why would I go somewhere else where 10 people are going to watch? No. If you got some truth, come to the big show. I'm giving you the bright lights. I have nothing to hide. I have all my receipts. So it's just fascinating to me that anybody that rocks with individuals like this your level of intelligence and the way you can be easily manipulated questions a lot of. You should question yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
I
feel
can't
bad.
make it
I feel
more clear than
bad.
that.
I feel bad for like especially Flex with the terms of, again, loyalty, man.
Bro.
There's
And
no
listen,
loyalty,
all the
bro. Like,
what's similar about some of these individuals is they've all brought my family into this.
right? Yeah.
What does that have? Like, it's
Trying to hurt
crazy.
you, trying to get to you, trying to find a way to break you down, because these are
not
some
going to
really
break you down.
damaged.
I'm not going on his show to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm saying that right now.
Yeah.
He can come on mine, because if I'm gonna go toe to toe with somebody and I'm gonna give the truth to the community, it's gonna be on my channel, because that's where people are gonna watch, and that's where I will demolish individuals and talk about the things that they think they know about. And I'll ask straightforward questions, and I'll answer any question in the book, because all these people seem to know that I'm DoorDash and he sold his name to DoorDash. Since I have this channel, I've had DoorDash in my middle name. So everything that I've done on YouTube, it's always been Pedro DoorDash.
These companies, know about the channels. They don't need to pay anyone. First of all, they have partnerships, and they wouldn't give it to Pedro because he has too many negative videos on YouTube about the company. That's why I wouldn't get one. The people who get them are the ones who keep their content in a way where they are comfortable paying them for the content. So why would they give money to Pedro and a secret code to break through? Like, nothing makes sense. And I don't want to know answer this question in the chat or in the comments below. How does Jeff Thomas Black make money? He's how?
I don't think he cares about money. I don't think money.
But you still need to pay your bills. The man spends 10 hours online.
Maybe he
talks about a book that's not going to earn any money. I don't think, like I said, I don't know. It's a fake book. He's a fake author. Where the money is coming from? He doesn't want to do the gig apps. Mm-hmm. Does he have an estate? Is he a trust fund baby?
Maybe,
like some other people we may know? Like getting money somehow?
Yeah.
I'm just asking questions. I'm asking.
I don't know if people can say that I'm on drugs, that I'm an alcoholic. They can say I'm cheating on my girlfriend. They can call me a bad father. All the things that this man has done to try to get my attention in a negative way to rile me up. I'm not riled. I'm using this as a point of reference because these things are factual. That's what he does every day, right? If you want to call me, though, I sold my name to DoorDash, but you don't say that about Uber Jeep AZ. You don't say that about your friend Jeff, do you? Jeff has a channel called Uber Jeep AZ. I got no problems with Jeff. You wouldn't say that to him. Did he sell his name? Yeah, so it's just funny how these things are all about very hypocritical.
DoorDash Rick, hold on a second. DoorDash Rick, stop lying. Stop lying about what? Yeah, what am I lying about?
Who knows?
DoorDash Rick, what are you lying about? What are you jumping into? You have the floor. Your next comment, I'll highlight.
Next comment, we'll highlight it. Go ahead, we'll wait. But I think it's funny. So if they're going to say those things, we can call him a fake author because I haven't seen no book.
Yeah,
you can send me some emails. No, you send us emails. You spam my email folder for a year. But where's the book, Jeff? Where's the book? So you probably would have had your book. Hey, Jeff, your book would have been done by now if you would spend less time worrying about me.
That's probably all right. That's a good point. If you didn't spend 5 hours a day obsess over a man,
your book would be out. Yeah,
you probably would have finished.
So am I? Can I call myself an NBA basketball player because I go outside and shoot some hoops? No. Like you guys, some of y'all are rocking with some fucking clowns, man. It's hilarious, man. It's funny. Like it's just funny, and he'll see this. I'm sure he'll react. It's
going to be another 8. He could be. He'll do 9 hours about how terrible you are.
All this stuff. I mean, it's just
thank
crazy,
you, another Basilico, for the $5. Rick, okay, did he answer? What?
Who knows? Who knows?
All right, Rick, how am I lying? Speak up.
We're here, man. We're here.
Yeah. So. I mean, at least you stepped up in the room compared to our friend Robert. Listen, I probably was a little bit more mean than I expected to be. There's nothing really more we can say about this situation.
We'll see what happens.
Jeff is going to be really upset. He's going to be really mad tomorrow. So if you guys want to check out his, and the funny thing is, they bring him on that I forgot who has another panel show, whatever. He comes on, starts yelling and screaming and saying incoherent shit, and people leave the fucking channel. Like they leave the live stream. And I don't know if that guy who runs it understands. When he comes in, Jeff comes in, and there's all this conspiracy theories and Pedro this and Pedro that, Pedro, and people leaving. And they're going to other places like, I don't want to hear this fucking weirdo talking about obsession with the, it's ruining your channel by having him with these conspiracy theories. Have Jeff prove that we get paid by DoorDash. Like we getting paid by the corporate. Like we're corporate.
Listen, I don't know how many times you want me to say it. If you guys could show me any evidence of that or anything at all, you would literally be able to take my channel down. My word would be nothing, and my word means everything to me. So I don't know how many more times you want me to, like, it's just crazy to me. It's just absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Do I have a partnership with Moves? I absolutely. I have no problem with that at all. They'll be on the show late December, early January. They'll answer some questions for you guys on a live, me and Sarah. So I have no problem working with individuals that I feel can benefit some gig workers if those gig workers feel like it's helpful for them. So for me, it's just so much hypocrisy. They talk about all these BlackRock and Moves and poverty and taking advantage of people. But these motherfucking cocksuckers are on YouTube. They're on Google talking about this stuff. The irony in that, okay? So it's okay to be on Google and YouTube and to get paid and talk about it, but it's not okay to work with a company like that.
They're
the hypocrisy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. They wear a shirt that's made in China. They'll be on Google, but then they're talking about all this stuff, all this conspiracy. These gentlemen don't know where they're standing sometimes. It's hilarious.
Yeah. But I would say Jay Driver said he can prove that Pedro gets paid by DoorDash. He's seen him dash before.
I don't know what that means.
yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. DoorDash, but the customers pay me, I guess.
He's being funny. Yeah, but we're waiting for explicit proof that the corporation that they came and said make videos based on this, that Tony Hsu has signed a check and gave it to Pedro. That's where we're talking about. But I know he's just messing around. But I would say for the most part,
DoorDash to write me a check. DoorDash, if you're looking at this, and I know you're not, I'll take a check because I'm making content for you free. So if you want to write me a check for 50 G's and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, I'll cash it tomorrow.
But they're already getting it free. So why would they pay?
Why would they? Exactly.
That's the point, right?
Yeah.
But I would say to end this a little bit, Robert, I'm disappointed you didn't show up. This was the olive branch. You took it and you just like pissed all over it. But you've been pissing on your own leg for the longest. The potential of what you could have had. Yeah. You don't even know the way you behave and the amount of relationships you have destroyed because of your behavior, because of the moments you keep having. Yep. And Eli's all about moments and knowing how to handle that. So maybe the guys will get along because when Eli knows how to handle someone when they have a moment. Yeah. Hopefully you guys have a great relationship. I know Pedro's a little bit more open to the conversation. I'm pretty much done. This is probably it. I don't see us talking to each other.
I'm pretty open, but I also follow Hannibal's lead. So when we do things on this channel, it's mostly I look at Hannibal and be like, I'm rocking with you, man. Like, whatever you think is best, and I just go with it, right? So if that's how I am on this channel. Like, Hannibal does a lot for us over here on this podcast. So I tend to lean on the side of his opinions and things, right? Because Hannibal's a super smart dude. He tends to think more long term. I'm more in the moment. I'm very impulsive, right? I think that's why it works for us. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm still open to it. Robert, I'll say this: you talk about money and wanting to build brands, and I think that's very honorable. But if you handled yourself a little differently, you'd make more money. You'd be in a better spot right now. And I think the people that I've surrounded myself with, that I've worked with, we've all been making money doing certain things, and our channels are growing. Yours isn't. So I think, my critique for you is pause a little bit, take a step back and really evaluate what you think you have going on, and think more long-term versus just an instant viral video or instant whatever. Because I think you fumble in the bag. You got you're a running back, sports, right? You fumbled the ball a few times at the goal line and you still think you've scored, but you haven't.
That's actually pretty good.
You get there but you're fumbling it. You think you're in the scored. You think you scored, but the replay is saying that you didn't, but you think you did. So just, swallow that pride a little bit, man. And you could do better, man. You can. So.
I think I don't think nothing's gonna filter in. You'll see, like I said, Jeff is gonna be really mad. He's gonna put our video tomorrow.
Oh, he's probably in the back room jacking off right now.
He's a man.
So that's something for you to talk about tomorrow, Jeff. You're probably doing that, right? You're probably doing that right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's upset. I know Robert's
he's
gonna be upset. Eli. So we probably pissed off like 3 locales at this point, which is fine. I'm pretty much I can't like Eli's a draw. He's interesting. The rest aren't. So I don't really care about talking to Robert anymore. Robert had his chance. I'm disappointed. You fumbled it, man. You did fumble it. You lost a lot of you could have fixed a lot of this stuff and you ruined it. So I'm done with Robert.
Hannibal and I can take care of 3 gentlemen or 2 gentlemen in an hour. You guys, it takes you about 40 hours a week. See how very quick, decisive, nothing planned, just right off the. You guys, it takes you all week to come up with niblets of garbage.
So but they'll make themselves feel better by doing it. So it is what it is.
Everybody needs that.
Santa Claus asked, "What do you think about Eli striking all these channels?" So. The problem is you got to follow. Yeah, so Eli's been knocking out a lot of channels that restream his content. There's ways to restream it without getting in trouble. There are a lot of the bigger locales. People restream their stuff all the time and they don't get in trouble. You got to know how to do it. You got to know exactly how to repurpose the screen with enough stuff that's different that it would work. But also at the same time, you don't need to watch or restream the entire thing to critique something. Like if I was doing a channel about Eli, just take out the things you want to talk about, and then make a channel, like make the video about it instead of watching the entire. He's just walking, so like you're restreaming it, and if you're trying to have a successful channel, it's not going to work. YouTube is being really aggressive with restreaming content. You got to put more effort into it. Of course, he's going to strike them down. I mean, at this point, he wants to be able to move on to a new community, and no one knows what happened. Problem is, that's not going to happen. So I think the gig economy is probably the last stop he had, and the people who did it, his attractors successfully stopped that. Where else he's going to go? Right now, it's really just about him and Robert talking. So there's nothing more there. I think if you guys really want to you want him not to have this much support, you guys stop watching.
Yeah,
stop watching it.
Yeah.
That'd probably be the easiest way, but I know it's hard. It's hard not to stop watching because, like I say, unlike Robert, people actually go watch Eli. Robert gets like 12 people to show up. So, but yeah, if you really want to let go, that's why I asked that question a couple of weeks ago. Is hate watching, right, or watching locales, is that healthy mentally? And maybe we could probably have a long conversation later, but I begin to think it isn't. It's not healthy. I think. If you're still watching, you're really upset, you're angry, you're frustrated, you have this anxiety. If you're walking away from watching these programs and you're feeling really, a little, not saying angry, but you feel differently, you're not feeling happy, then you really should question why you're watching this content in the first place. So, it's
a good point.
Yeah,
I think we pissed some people off tonight, but that's okay.
Probably, yeah.
That's what this channel isn't for that. But we talk about these type of things. We don't do this. We don't do the drama over there. I've done that a little, but we're not doing that over there because that's a channel for gig drivers and workers and entertainment and relatability. This is a place you can come and get your head knocked off, and we could bang around a little bit and see who comes out at the end, and that's okay. But you got to show up to do it. So
nothing but Silicon says entertainment. I don't like Eli or Robert. Yeah, I mean, I think nothing but you got it. You understand, but I think a lot of us get really frustrated. It's like you really should take a break. But, I'm disappointed that Robert didn't show up. He's in the channel right now talking. There's 14 people in. And probably 4 of them are probably the ones watching. That's in the panel probably watching. So it's 10 people in there.
Yeah.
That he could have came here, talked all that shit, cursed us out, did a freestyle battle rap and see if he's he's the greatest battle rapper.
He probably would have got a couple extra subscribers, like some people, he would have got a little something great to talk about tomorrow. Now, you have to tell your viewers why you didn't show up to Kerbivore. You're the official news channel, and you didn't show up to an event. You got to talk about how many times you fumbled at the goal line, and you got to talk about how you don't have engagement on your channel. I'll give you something to talk about. He'll go
to Social Blade and talk about all the shorts views. All the shorts views he has, because those are very important to him. Even though if you're trying to make money, making shorts, you have to have millions of views. That's why he never talks about how much money he makes on YouTube. Because it's not a lot of money.
Reese, I made more money. I made more money today on YouTube than you have since your whole entire channel's been up.
And that stings. I feel bad. I'm not throwing that money out. But also, this second channel is going to make more money then you're.
Yep, we have. Yep, and it's because we know how to do this. We're businessmen, and you are pretending to be a businessman. There's a difference.
I'm sorry. 10 million in 3 months. Tell him, show how much money he's made. He won't. So Jada, I know you got kicked out of the channel. Go and let him show you how much money he's making. He doesn't.
Hey, Robert, tomorrow, if you show how much money you've made on YouTube in your lifetime, I'll give you $100. I'll give you $100.
That's twice as much.
I want you to
made.
pull up your lifetime YouTube, and I'll give you $100. You can just email me and I'll cash app you.
Nice.
I want to see
you
how much you've made.
You have to watch it. I'm not watching it, so someone will have to tell you that it happened.
Send it to me. If I'll give you $100. Show us how much you've made. All that hard work. You're a businessman. The millions of views, the viral videos. How much you've made on YouTube, Robert? I'll give you $100.
Look at that. That's some money for you in your pocketbook. You know what I'm saying,
and
Robert?
I also want to shout out Silicone. So Washington Huskies. I don't want to forget it.
Oh yeah. Good. Yeah.
Big win versus Utah. They got to get into playoffs. So the biggest game Washington's going to play is going to be the Pac-12 championship, right? They're going to play Oregon. Most likely, it's going to be tough. Nobody's going to want to play Washington though in the playoff, right? So they got to. I mean, everything is leading up to that. But Michael Penix Jr., he's on the Heisman watch. So shout out to the Washington Huskies. That's for Silicon.
So the only thing I've been keeping up with the college football stuff is obviously the Colorado thing. And I guess a lot of our expectations were super high. Well, first of all, they were low. Before the season, it was like, well, this team is 1-11, so good luck, Prime. Like, I don't think anyone came in like they're going to destroy. But then they won the TCU. They were winning some games. You know, a lot of people were giving a lot of attention to the team.
Yeah.
Whatever he finished the season, he took a program that lost 11 times and won one game. Whatever happens at the end, I guess they may not get a bowl game or whatever. That's a success. You don't jump from winning one game and win 5 or 6 or 7 and say, well,
hold on. I have to challenge you on that. That actually happens about every year, several times. Right now, without me even like knowing the teams, I bet if you look at teams that won 1 or 2 games last year and that have doubled or tripled their wins, there's at least 10 to 15 teams that have done that. But Colorado has the prime effect, and I love the prime effect. But I think overall this year for them, when it comes to what they could have been and the trajectory they were on, I think Coach Prime has mismanaged some games. I think some of his team, some of his players have letting that limelight get to them a little bit, and I think sometimes they're not as focused. So I think actually they were on a trajectory to get into some kind of bowl game, and they're not going to get that right now. So I'm going to look at this as I'm not going to say it's a complete success, but it's obviously not a failure. I'm kind of somewhere in between, if I'm being honest.
So you think they had the personnel, and if they had a more seasoned
to get to a bowl
coach?
game, yes. To get to a bowl game, yes.
Yeah.
No.
Also,
I think Deion's fine, but what I'm saying is, I think there's games. They had a game versus Stanford, maybe was it, where the guy went off for like 1,000 yards in the second half. Like it was, you can't let those things happen, right? Okay. So I think they could have got to a bowl game this year, and they might not this year. I think next year they're going to be a problem because he's going to get a few more recruits. Yeah. Even though they did have somebody decommit, a 5-star recruit wide receiver decommitted last week. Not sure why, but so he's lost one big guy. So I mean, they're going to be better next year because his sons are coming back, and they got a lot of other guys coming back. The coaching staff should be better.
Yeah.
But I mean, they've definitely situationally the coaching has been a little iffy.
Okay. I mean, I don't know how many seasons Deion has been a head coach in college football. 2? Is this going to be his 3rd? Or?
He was 2 years at Jackson State. I think this is his year. Somebody in the chat could fact check on that. I think
so. Hopefully, and he brings a lot of experts. He brings a lot of really powerful, important people. So hopefully, but it got to a point where it was like, okay, maybe all of our expectations, and I'm sure the coverage has been over the top. But it's Deion Sanders. Yes, he's pushing the narrative of the situation, and of course, he's not it's not the best football team in the nation. But I still think I would say, okay, maybe not necessarily a failure or success, but definitely progress, and definitely some
100%.
situations. Travis Hunter wasn't playing the entire time. There were some circumstances
Yeah.
But I think maybe Deion needs to probably scale back the bravado and just keep it in house. Like, just play football because that's what Deion says he's a football player. So I think maybe the public stuff need to kind of.
I'm rooting. Listen, next year I want Colorado to win the national championship. I want to be very clear. I think it would be good for college football. I think it would change the guard in some ways. I think it would be a really, really good thing. I'm rooting for them to win. I just think this year they just popped off too much in the beginning, and I think it got to them a little bit. And now they beat
the runner up of the champ. I mean, I fell into it.
We all did. People after they won the second game, they're like, "Oh, national championship," and I'm looking like, "Are you guys serious? Have you not watched the games?" Like I'm not. I thought they were going to win 4 games this year. I said that in the beginning of the year. So, and that's probably they might win 1 more, but that's about it. So, but next year I'm rooting for them. I want Sanders to do well. I want him to go top 10 pick in the NFL draft. The year after next. I mean, I want all these things. And it could happen, but they need defensive line and offensive line. They got playmakers. They got a good enough quarterback. Okay. They got prime time. So he's got the swag and the confidence to coach these guys up. They need a couple of defensive ends to get to the quarterback because their defense is bad. They need another cornerback, defensive back, and they need some offensive line help. If they can get some good recruits or some transfers, they could make a run next year. So
definitely. All right, man. On that note, guys, we almost hitting 2 hours here. I got nothing else in terms of those 2 guys. Good luck to all of them, as long as they make their money and they write their books and all that dumb shit that they're doing. Good luck to all of you.
The books on the email books, so you can just email stuff to people.
Good luck, whatever, Jeff. It is what it is on that note. But on Wednesday, I mean, hopefully we have some more basketball talk. I mean, my Knicks are terrible, but whatever. There's other stuff happening that's interesting with the NBA. There's actually a former NBA player that got mad because his wife opened an OnlyFans, obviously without his permission.
Oh, yeah, Joe Smith.
Joe Smith, which is, I remember having his basketball card.
Warriors.
So I want to talk about that story because it's been out for a while of what's going on and what would happen if, Madison wakes you up at 2 a.m. and said, I started OnlyFans. What would you do? Would you make her a meal? Would you give her a cookie? Or what would you do? We'll have these questions.
I'd give her a high five and say, how much you make? That's what I would say, but that's just me.
That's just you. And I totally think differently. So we're going to have that conversation on Wednesday.
We can talk about that on Wednesday. Let's
talk about that on Wednesday. So thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for all of the super chats. I love nothing but silicone, Mr. Flex. Yup. That's your life, Hawaii. I mean, you guys are doing great. Helping us out so much. Listen, nothing but
listen. I'm only half joking. We'll talk about it Wednesday. Come back on.
We'll talk about it Wednesday. We'll bring out the entire story and what's going on with that. Are they still married? And is Joe Smith broke? Why are they even doing this? But we'll have that and more on Wednesday. Have a good night, guys. See you guys on Wednesday. Peace.